despite everything what is happening, we need to move forward because it makes our world a little bit better.
I hope so.
And if we just stop doing everything, it will not actually help.
It's true. And on that motivational note, welcome to Ship It and Sip It, everybody. I'm here today with my colleague and friend, avid hiker, trekker, dog mom, and senior business analyst at Paralect, Irina Demidova. Demidova, da?
That is correct, da.
All right, Irina Demidova, welcome to Ship It and Sip It. Thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you, John. Thank you for the invitation. I'm really happy to be here.
Amazing. I'm happy you're here too. Today we have some healthy non-alcoholic drinks to share. Ginger beer from Lemonardo for Irina, and I've got iced tea. Irina, there's a lot of things that I want to talk to you about because you're involved in so many cool things that are happening at Paralect right now. So what would you like to start with? And I offer two options. That is either the ProductLab or the Accelerator.
Maybe I can start from ginger beer.
Ginger beer.
What do you think?
Yeah,
let's taste what we have.
Let's do it. I've got iced tea. You know, iced tea is so popular in America, but this is like the first time I bought it here.
I think it's good.
I think it's good. All right.
So we can start. Let's start with ProductLab. At least we can tell what does it mean, right?
That's right. So ProductLab has been going on at Paralect for about a year and a half, maybe more.
Something like that.
I think it's a year ago. It was right around the end of last year's Accelerator that Pasha started the ProductLab. And it has changed a little bit throughout its iteration. So tell us about what you do there and sort of what is the main goal for the ProductLab now?
So I took responsibility for ProductLab somewhere in the end of May. I don't remember exactly. And our main goal was to establish the validation process, to refine it, and to do validation of ideas on a constant basis. So to have it like continuously. Basically, this is the main goal right now. Like, why we validate ideas at all, right? This is a good question.
Yeah.
And like, you can build MVP, but it might be expensive for you. And moreover, when you build your MVP product, you will still need to validate it, because when you have something in real, you still need to understand whether users will use it or not. And it means that the earlier you will start the validation process, the less resources you will spend.
Okay.
You will just save money.
Makes sense. All right, so I guess there have been a few products or ideas that have gone through this idea validation process. What are the outcomes, and what do you use to sort of determine those outcomes? So how do you say, let's take the Pets Health app, right? We had this idea, we put a survey out on LinkedIn, asked for some audience interviews to discover the problems that people had with their pets and keeping track of health documents. Then it went into the black box that is the ProductLab, and a few weeks later we said, okay, we're not going to build this product. So what happened in that black box process? Can you sort of open it up?
You would like to know all the secrets, right?
Not all of them, but just, you know, how do we make that decision, I guess?
Actually, we make decisions based on data, and usually this is not it is not me who decide like whether we will continue with this idea or not. Basically, we have group discussion, and this discussion we have at two stages. So initially, first of all, we scout ideas. Right now, the main source of the ideas is internal source of our colleagues, but as well we are expanding, and we will take ideas from external founders, from whoever will submit the ideas. We even have plans to have partnership with some companies who are working on these ideas. And when we have idea, usually there is some person who will take responsibility for validation. We call this person driver, and now we have a little bit difference from the previous approach. We do not assign driver to the idea. Driver can select the idea from bank of ideas, him or herself. Why it helps? Driver has his own interest in this idea.
Yeah.
They would like either they have experience in this sphere, or they would like to test this idea for themselves, and it helps to be motivated. And within there are two stages of validation process. At the first step, we conduct market analysis, we conduct competitors analysis, we just define the idea, we try to understand who are our target audience, what possible monetization we can use for this idea. And after that, basically a lot of ideas, they just fail at this stage, because initially, when we think that our idea is brilliant, your idea is really brilliant. But in most cases, someone has already implemented the same idea. Sometimes their implementation was good enough, and maybe it might be even for free on the market. So there is no need to build the same thing, because there is some and it is successful. On the other hand, there might be cases when there are multiple solutions, but they do not cover the main need of the customer, of the user. In this case, we can understand that, hey, there is need, it is not satisfied, and we can suggest the product for that. And after that, when we think this only based on initial analysis, we go to the second stage, when we prepare creatives, when we prepare landing page, and we validate this based. We conduct quantitative analysis, right? So we conduct UA campaign, and after that, we just check what metrics we have and whether it worth going with this idea further or not. But honestly, starting from July, we checked and validated more than 15 ideas, something like that, or maybe 10. I don't remember the exact figure, but it's like many ideas within 2 months, and only 2 ideas went to the second stage of validation. And currently we are preparing these advertisement creatives, and we are preparing for the UA campaign. Okay. So it means at first stage, more than half of the ideas fail.
Okay. Well, they don't fail. They just don't pass the test to go to the next level.
It is really good that it's okay to say fail, because it's not failure of you, as the idea owner or as a validator. It means that you have the result. It's cool when you have final design, final result, no matter whether it is we proceed or we stop. Both variants are okay.
And 2 out of 15 is pretty good, actually, in terms of overall startup idea.
But we
metrics,
don't know
right?
yet whether they will go through the second stage.
Yes, and I guess I'm eagerly awaiting the first product that actually goes into the development stage, which I assume would come after the second validation phase, because we haven't had one yet. But it looks like things are promising. Maybe. Can you tell us, can we share a teaser about the 2 ideas? Because I already know what they are, because they've asked me to help with the creatives for the second stage. So
I don't think that it is a problem to share. So the first idea, it's plants for children, and actually it evolved from another idea, which was basically plant care application. When we validated this idea, we came to the conclusion that there are multiple solutions, and moreover, they are focused not only on plant care, but on plant identifiers. And when we checked, we understood that basically it's all for grown-ups, and if you are children, you would like to learn something new about nature in some entertaining way. And we decided to provide this opportunity. So currently we are testing this idea, and let's figure out what there will be.
Yeah, it looks really fun, and I've seen a sneak peek of the short video, the animated video for it. So that looks really fun. And the second one?
Second one, it's like VR sphere, and it is VR in the sphere of psychology. So there is this idea of our head of project management, Alex, and he truly believes that VR technology can help people with some either mental problems or with anxiety or something like that. And actually in VR sphere there are not so many products implemented right now.
Yeah.
There are not so many competitors. It's basically pretty open to everything new. That's why we are testing this idea, and if it's if the results will be positive, we will start working in VR sphere.
That would be really exciting, and I saw a little bit about the idea, and I'm excited to help make the creatives for it. Let's move from ideas in the product lab to the people in the product lab, and so let's talk a little bit about who's involved. Obviously yourself, some other people from the business analysis team, some designers. Who all is there, and who's it open for within Paralect?
Actually, it is my favorite question, I will say, because ProductLab is about people and it's about communication and collaboration. Because it's easy to say that you are just validating the idea, but basically you are communicating with everyone in the company, because you need different tools, different people to finally proceed with this validation. So what are these people? So we have drivers, and it can be everyone, but our main drivers are from business analysis department and from project management. Why? Because this is what people, what are these people do at their projects, but they just volunteer to do this within ProductLab. As well, we are working with design team, and they are preparing designs and prototypes. Marketing designers, they prepare creatives and different advertisement, motion videos, something like that. We work with development team because we are implementing mobile application for testing mobile ideas. And actually this is the difference, the new approach to validation, because we separated the process for validation website ideas and mobile ideas. So currently we will have two different processes for that. And it will mean if we have application, we need testing team to test this application. And it means that you're working with everyone at Paralect. You need to request some budget, and you will go to Luba, or you will need to have some advice at marketing, and you will go to Alena. So basically, my whole team, I really respect them. And they are cool guys.
Great.
Do you need some names I can name?
No.
I can name everyone.
Don't need to name everyone. I'm curious about how the work within the ProductLab process is different from our usual partnership with a founder, external founder, in the early stage of product development.
Actually, it not differs a lot. The only difference is that you do not have this external founder. So we can say that our founder is inside Paralect, or we can say that driver is founder if driver validates not their own idea, but idea of another person. Basically, they can think about this idea, evolve. This idea will evolve in something new. So basically, this person behaves as a founder. It will mean a little bit less communication and a lot more ownership, right?
Yeah. So I guess another way to ask about this interaction between the two different processes is to how does what's happening in the ProductLab process improve our services and our regular partnerships with startups? So how is this making us better product development teams?
I can say that it makes us better because we are good enough, right? But
this is just a bonus.
what it helps our founders to understand that there is no difference between them and us. Basically, we have absolutely the same pains, we have absolutely the same questions, and moreover, we find answers to these questions, and it means that they can associate themselves with us because we are absolutely the same. We are the same founder with the idea. We would like to validate it as soon as possible. We would like to save our costs and do this efficiently. And it will mean if we can efficiently do this for ourselves, we can do the same for them because we know how to do that. We try to save not only our costs, but their costs as well. And I think it is not something new what we do in ProductLab. Basically, it is like this Paralect. This is what Paralect does, right? It is not something new, but we just make this process more standardized, and it's just a little bit different focus on our own products. Mm-hmm. But we can do the same for our partners.
Yeah. It's very exciting. I think the only real new thing that I've noticed is, usually we don't do that much in terms of paid acquisition for our partners. So ProductLab is giving our marketing team, myself included, and Ilona and Vlad and Masha, everyone on the marketing team, we get a lot more practice in building those campaigns, executing those user acquisition campaigns, analyzing whether the results are good enough together with you guys. So that's very exciting.
I have a spoiler. I know that there is a validation package prepared within Paralect. So very soon we will suggest this package to our partners. Yes. And I know that Alex, head of our project management, is working on that. So maybe very soon it will came to broad public, and I hope it's not a big spoiler.
No. I mean,
but I think that what we are doing inside Paralect, basically, everything can be available for our partners.
Yeah, and we started piloting that even last year during the Accelerator program with the go-to-market strategies for Viska and a little bit with Nudge, but not so much. But definitely with Viska, we helped out with that as well. So, do you want to say anything else about the Accelerator or about the ProductLab? Or do you want to move on to the Accelerator?
I think we can proceed with next topic.
All right. The Accelerator. You have been working as a PDM, product manager, in the one of the Accelerator startups, which is now called Selva. So
that is correct.
Tell us about your experience there and just your general impression so far.
Actually, I can start saying that I like working at Paralect because of these initiatives, because this is not what every company has, right? And have this Accelerator program, and it goes together with Starup Summer courses for developers and testing team. So this is like combination, and I'm really proud to be part of this. And this is one big plus while working at Paralect. So when I just think about pluses and minuses, this is huge plus, and I really respect these initiatives because in terms of Starup Summer courses for developers and testers, this is really great that Paralect invest in people, and they are ready, we are ready to share our knowledge. So these Starup Summer courses, they impress me even more than Accelerator program, but Accelerator program is amazing as well. Why? Because I know that our team, they checked a lot of applications, and as a result they selected 2 winners, right? And I worked on Selva, and I jumped in this accelerator boat at the very last moment, and I was working together with my colleague Michael Lapidus, so I think he was invited.
Yeah, he's been on the show. He was one of the first guests this year, I think.
Yeah, so we together we worked on Selva product, and it was great.
You're still working on Selva, right?
That is correct.
All right, it hasn't launched yet. It's going to launch. We'll give another spoiler. It's going to launch somewhere in the middle of October. I've seen some changes in the exact date, so I won't make any promises. But the product itself and the idea from the founders in the US has been very dynamic since even probably before they started the Accelerator. So there's been a rebranding from Agora to Selva. There's been a bit of a shift in the target market, a bit of a shift in the features, I think.
I don't think that.
No?
It is like fully correct. Actually, what I like about this product basically is the founders. They are absolutely great. They have clear vision, and all the changes that you name, actually they're minor.
Yeah.
What remains the same is their global vision, their strategy, and it always was the same. They decided to change the name and go with Selva naming because it happens so that Agora is already occupied by some other products not connected to this science sphere, and they have explanation why they selected Selva.
Oh yeah, I agree with it completely. My question was more about was that challenging, or how did you work with that process throughout?
Got it. So basically, it's okay to have changes.
Yes,
it means
I agree,
that we are agile.
Yeah.
And we try to improve everything. And as I said, there are not so many changes. And when we have changes, we just need to analyze what impact will it have. The same with rebranding. It means that we will need to implement new landing page, and in the product we are working on, we just need to make these relevant changes. We need to create new logo, and when you just you think, oh, we have rebranding, it's so huge. When you just name the tasks one by one, you understand, okay, it's just several tasks. We can
especially at the early stage, when it's pre-product launch. It's
when you have plan,
so
it doesn't matter what change you have. You just need to analyze what will be the impact and how you can address.
Yeah, I'm totally on board with rebranding, because the first startup that I worked at had a terrible name in English, and I tried to get the founders to rebrand it for ages, and they never did. So I'm totally fine with rebranding. It makes sense. Let's talk a little bit, because I talked with Alex, the CEO and one of the co-founders, and he described this huge vision that they have for the product about redefining the scientific community, how people talk to each other. But he said that's, step 100, and with Paralect we're doing steps 3, 4, 5. So you're an integral part of this early steps. How did you work with them to sort of narrow down the scope for the MVP?
It's easy for me because I'm not afraid to be the bad guy on the meetings. And my favorite thing to say is that it is out of MVP scope. We can't implement everything. We need to prioritize. That's why we can narrow the scope down. But actually, it is really good to work with founders, and Alex, Anthony, and Andrew, they are exactly the founders who do understand that we can't implement everything, and we need to define the main features and have these priorities. How how we do this? Actually, different visualization techniques helps, and with the team we conducted user story mapping workshop where we define MVP scope, and based on this exercise, we can understand what exactly should be present in the application, and then we can understand that, okay, this is the main feature, this is core functionality, and this is only alternative, which means that this can be implemented further. And doing this one by one, thinking about the features, you can just narrow down the scope and have this final small MVP solution.
Fantastic. And I look forward to seeing what they launch with. So the new website is already launched, by the way. You can head to joinselva.com and check out the beautiful design, the logos, the features that will be there when Selva launches in October. If you're into science, check it out. Get on the wait list. It'll be really cool. Do you have anything else you'd like to say about the Accelerator program or the Starup Summer experience?
I can add about Starup Summer experience that in this initiative I participated as lecturer as well, and it was really great for me because...
What was your lecture about?
Try to guess.
Startups, your feature scope, or what?
It was for developers, so what can I share to development team as non-tech guy?
Well, you did that webinar about feature decomposition.
It's more for business analysts and project managers.
I don't know, I don't work on these teams. You tell me.
So what can non-tech guy tell to developers basically is something about soft skills.
Right.
So the topic of my lecture was efficient communication.
Okay.
And it was about communication inside the team, tools which we use, approach which we use in Paralect. And I was a little bit stressful because you think that, okay, these guys, they just came to us to learn how to develop something, right? Some techniques, and you're talking about like how to communicate, and maybe it's just not so important. But I was impressed that these topics this year about soft skills, we have another lecture by Ksenia Tsiganok. She prepared lecture for conflict management, and it has success because it's important to know how to communicate, not only how to do something, but how to demonstrate your work, how to communicate with your colleagues. When you disagree with someone, what should you do? If you have a lot of pressure on you, what should you do? And it was great that my experience, it was helpful, and I was able to share it with the students. So I was really happy.
That's lovely, and yeah, communication this is a team sport, you know, we're working together, especially when we work with founders that are from different cultures. Communication within the team and with everybody involved is very important. So I'm glad you had that experience. Will you look forward to doing it again with another group?
Definitely, yes.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, let's do rapid fire questions.
Okay.
This is a new segment of our interview that I'm trying
out.
There are no wrong answers. All right, so I'll look at my cheat sheet real quick. Would you rather work in the office or work from home?
No straight answer, because I find my perfect perfect scenario for this. So just work 2 days from office and 3 days from home. Why? Because I have my dog and I prefer to spend more time with her and not spend time for commuting each day, but better like go for a walk with her for a longer period. But on the other hand, I really enjoy atmosphere in the office, and when you can talk to your colleagues, or it's easier to discuss some issue if you have some, when you just have your colleagues side by side. That's why I decided to go like several days per week in the office, and I really enjoyed it. But I'm not ready to return to the office like full time. Yeah, it will be a little bit challenging.
Right. I agree, actually. I'm totally on board with a couple days per week in the office. Today was great. I got to come in. I got to meet 2 people that I thought were still out of the country that I haven't seen in several weeks or months. So it was lovely to catch up with them. I have a follow-up question though. Since you gave the lecture on Starup Summer about communication, and now we're talking about work from home versus work in the office, you mentioned communicating side by side with the team. I guess, do you have any things that you've really noticed within teams as we've switched from mostly in-office teamwork to mostly remote?
Basically, is that our communication moves to online, and there are some specific rules which you need to follow to communicate efficiently online. And for sure it means that you will have more meetings online, but it's not only about meetings, it's about I don't know, chatting in Slack as well. And what can I say? For instance, like small example, when you would like to have answer from your colleague, you can just what some people do, they just send hi in Slack and waited for a response, then they send the question, and it irritates, and it doesn't matter about irritation. It takes a lot of time just to answer hi and how can I help you, and like
this is a cultural difference, I think, because I noticed this as soon as I started working in tech teams here or in product startups here. People do this all the time. They'll say, hi, how are you?
It is not efficient.
And I'm like, what do you want? It's like when I write to somebody in Slack, I have a reason for writing them, and I ask the question that I have. I don't know why you want to know how I am. I'm fine.
Yeah, and it is not obvious for everyone. For sure, you need to write, hi, John, I have a question for you, which is this one, right? And it saves time. And in terms of meetings, it is important to understand what question can be resolved like within the meeting and what question can be resolved via Slack or email. So this becomes more important when we are working remotely in different locations, and this is about like respecting each other's time, and this helps to maintain transparency. So when you are all in the office, maybe everyone knows what everyone is responsible for and what they are doing currently. When you are working at home, it might be not so obvious, and it's important to establish this transparency in the team and just have these daily meetings. Basically everything is standard, but it is important to maintain them. Mm-hmm. And when we moved to like online and working remotely, another question appears. It's about supporting each other, because like right now you can feel alone at home. Sure. And it's not only about working, it's more like personal thing. Mm-hmm. But it's important to support each other, and when we have these meetings, it is necessary to ask your colleague, how are you feeling, and like, is everything okay? Like sometimes we are even asking that, like when was the last time you go outside? Yes, because sometimes people just working from home and they don't want to go anywhere, and it's important to support them.
Right. I guess that's why it's important to have pets that need walking, right?
Absolutely.
Definitely, I agree that sort of connective small talk is welcome on like those regular calls. But as the lead into a question in Slack, I'm like, what's the point?
Yeah, it's different.
All right. That was a short detour into team communications and how they've changed. Back to our rapid fire question. What is the most used what is the most used app on your phone right now?
I think Telegram. Reminders, like native from iPhone, because I have all reminders there. Notes as well, I have everything written there.
Okay.
It's Google Maps
Uh-huh.
and Maps.me, I think.
Maps.me. You still use Maps.me? We don't have to get into Maps.me. They updated, it was kind of
I
terrible.
don't like their updated version, yes, and when they were sold or something like that. But they still have good offline map. That's why I sometimes use it, but Google Maps is better, sure.
Yeah. We don't have to go down that rabbit hole. All right, I use Maps.me a lot for bike touring. That's why I know
You can check organic maps.
Yeah.
They have the same base, but there will be less, I don't know, advertisement or something like that.
I just never updated it from the old version.
Okay.
Anyway, favorite beverage on a Friday night?
Depending on the Friday night.
A good Friday night.
If I have plans for the weekend, it will be herbal tea. If I have plans for the Friday night, it might be a glass of wine or even beer, something like that, but not strong alcohol.
Okay. Last book that you've read and that you would recommend to other people to read.
Okay.
So no bad books.
Actually, this year I read only good books, so I can recommend, I think, most of them. The last book which I read was, the name is Born a Crime. And this book is about it's based on real life story, and this is about the guy who was born in South Africa, and this book is about apartheid, and it covers different important questions, and I really enjoyed reading it, and I learned a lot of new information. So I would definitely recommend this.
What's it called again?
Born a Crime by Trevor Noah.
Ah, Trevor Noah. He's the comedian.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think yes.
Yeah, I watch his show all the time.
Yeah, and the book, is brilliant, and it is easy. It's easy to read, but the topics covered, they are not so easy.
Yeah.
So you just think about different topics and you see them from different perspectives. And yeah, definitely recommend.
Yeah, brilliant.
Can I tell about the current book? It's
okay.
It's so cool.
If you must.
Really? Sorry. So right now I'm reading about Darknet and site inside Darknet. It's American Kingpin, and this is about the guy who created marketplace in the Darknet, and this is interesting to read because this is completely illegal stuff, but created by genius.
See the guy that's in jail now?
Yes.
Yeah, Russ Ulbricht.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it is interesting to read about such stories because you can understand how different minds can work and how, like, really genius people, how actually he don't want to create something bad, right?
No.
He just has his own principles, and he was trying to make this world better. And I think it's important to read about such cases and think about them. I think it helps, like, to all of us.
I agree. I'll have to look into it. Yeah, I've read. I think I follow him on Twitter actually. Interesting guy. Interesting story. I'll have to check out the book. All right. Last rapid fire question. What is one bucket list goal that you would like to finish this year? It is already September, so we don't have much time left.
Actually, I have plans for the year, but I do not plan, like, I have, like, to read 25 books per year, right? But most of my goals is, for instance, to train regularly and to run 2-3 times per week. And it doesn't mean that I need to run this week. It means that this is something continuous. What should be done continuously.
But if you keep avoiding it, it gets harder and harder to fulfill.
Yeah, and you can't just run in the last week of December and say that this goal is fulfilled. It's about doing this continuously, and all of my goals, they have the same pattern: to do something on a
systematic,
on a constant basis, systematically.
Okay. Fair enough. How's the running going? Is it?
Actually, I have a pause because I had one of my trekking tours, and tomorrow I will go to another one. So this month I was traveling, and there was no possibility to run. But this is what I did before this trekking, and what will I continue to do in the end of September.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you don't get to run, if you're trekking through the mountains, that's pretty good training as well,
Absolutely.
especially at the high altitudes that you'll be at in Kyrgyzstan. Okay, let's talk a little bit about your journey professionally, because I think it's interesting how you got to this place where you're doing all these new things with the ProductLab and with the Accelerator. So you've been a business analyst for quite some time. Was this like a childhood dream? How did you get into it?
So, actually, my start of my career was in IT company, but it was finance department. And despite I working with finance, I communicate a lot with the clients, and it was like absolutely the same what business analysts do, but in terms of revenue, contracts, and all this stuff. It means that I can use my past experience from finance right now, and it is relevant. So after that, I moved to business analysis. I finished courses, and I started working as business analyst, and I understand that this is what I can this is what I like and what I can do. Mm-hmm. And after that, I changed the company, and I moved to Paralect. And what I like in Paralect, actually, it was my interview to the company. I forgot that it is an interview because it was so cool to talk with Starup. Mm-hmm. She's currently my manager, and it was just entertaining. We discuss how to conduct discovery, and we try to play the real situation, what questions you will ask, how it is better to implement something, and what you can propose to the client. And it was in such entertaining manner that wow, I would like to work in this company. And here I am.
I've heard this story from every business analyst that I've interviewed. I think there have only been a couple so far. Well, 3. Yeah.
This is because I think Ksenia conducts this interview perfectly.
Yes.
And people inside the business analyst team, I love all people in Paralect, but from business analysis departments, they are really the best. Yeah. And in Paralect, what I like is that you can do everything you want, and really it was how to say, I started working as business analyst. After that, I conducted project manager activities, so I now have experience working as project manager as well. And how I ended up in ProductLab is basically because there are people who believe in me and support me, and Ksenia is one of them. Another one is Igor Krasnik, and they just said that this is what I can do, and they suggested to me to take part and take ownership for this initiative. And it was a big challenge for me because this is something new. You need to learn a lot, but on the other hand, I have good organizational skills, and I understand that I might be useful for this initiative. That's why I ended up here.
All right, well, it's fascinating. It's clear to me that you have a deep enjoyment of what you're doing with Paralect and with your colleagues here and in the ProductLab and in the Accelerator. So I guess, where does your continued motivation come from? Is it just that these things are challenging? Is it just that you like to organize new ideas? What motivates you in this area?
That is a good question. So people, it is really good to understand that you are not alone, and that if you have some question, even you can go to, for instance, I can always go to Ksyusha, even if she doesn't have answer, we can discuss it. And it is really important to have these feelings inside you that you can you can just go and ask and you will receive this support. It is important. Another thing, it is I like challenges. So it's a little bit boring for me to do the same activities, even if you are good at them. And I look forward to something new because it helps me to grow as a professional. And I really like that Paralect just gives me this opportunity because I feel the difference between me who came to Paralect 1 year and a half ago, right? And
yeah, something like that.
And right now, yeah. So I see the big difference, and it is good that you can go to different initiatives. You can just grow there.
Yes, it is quite a dynamic environment that we have here. It's very fun. I guess my last question then, because you've got to go and pack for a trip to the mountains. My last question is about any advice that you would share for young people who might be interested in getting into business analysis or project management or the area that you work in. What advice would you have for younger Irina?
Read. It's important to read books because sometimes you would like to create something new, but actually it was created for you, and if you read, you will learn something quicker. It is good to pass different courses, not only in business analysis or product management. It can be in different spheres, and you will take these puzzles, and in the end you will have this whole picture. What is important is not to be afraid to fail and to be wrong at something, because it is okay, and it is important to admit that you are wrong somewhere. You just need to understand that something was wrong and move forward. What's important as well, never blame someone that it's not my fault, he is the bad guy, right? So it doesn't matter who is guilty here. It's important just to fix the problem in the end, and always you need to focus on the solution, not on the problem itself. And maybe the last one, time management. It is one of the most important things, and I think especially if you work as business analyst, product manager or project manager, because all of these positions, they implies management skills, and you need to have you need to have good time management skills, not only for yourselves but for your team as well. And the better time management you have, the more you will be able to achieve, and in shorter terms. So time management is everything we have.
All right. Well, I'm sure we could do a whole episode about time management, but we'll save that for another time. Hopefully this won't be the last time you come and join us on Ship It and Sip It. But you've got to go get ready for another lovely trekking trip.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. Have a lovely weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.